Okay, on topic. On our previous stop along the Food Logic product journey, we used track and trace to isolate specific lots of affected strawberries, and now it's time to recall them. To effectively manage this recall, Valley Grill, our retail concept, uses Food Logic Connect's recall and response. So at retail headquarters over there, Elena completed her investigation and needs to issue a recall. In order to save time and to standardize communications, she has previously created reusable templates and will use a template to initiate a recall across Valley Grill locations. The affected products and locations automatically load from the results of the investigation, and Elena can customize the notifications that will be sent using email, phone, or text messages. When the recall is initiated, Valley Grill can monitor responses and interactions at all of their stores through their live dashboard as the recall unfolds. And there it goes, just started. Elena started the strawberry recall that affects strawberry quarts and strawberry cups at 6 locations. Notifications are sent out to all contacts, and the dashboard is updated in real time as contacts acknowledge and respond to the recall event. Back here, over here on site, Jonathan receives the notification and reports on the number of cases withdrawn for this recall using the Connect response form to enter data. He can view attachments from headquarters, add any necessary documentation for his location, and certify his response. Well done, Jonathan. Well done, Elena. All the locations have responded and your recall was completed. Now, again, if it was only that easy, right? So to talk about how to make recall and response easy, I'd like to invite up to start up our next session, Recall Readiness and Response. Today you'll hear from Brenna Wortham and from Whole Foods Market, who is a team lead for business process improvement, food safety, and global quality assurance. Joining her is Victoria Goss, the Whole Foods Market team lead and project manager within the food safety process improvement team. Today you'll learn how Whole Foods Market is leveraging technology to manage their product recalls and withdrawals for more than 15,000, that's 15,000 suppliers. Get an inside look at their successful rollout of recall and response, their biggest wins and lessons learned, and their ROI post-implementation. Welcome, Brenna and Victoria.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we are very excited to be back. Last year we were here and we were literally just a few weeks away from launching the recall application, and we are very excited to be back here this year to share with you our success and how we did that and what our journey looked like. And it is great to be on this side of that. It was a fun adventure, and we're going to share some of our best practices and lessons learned. What we'd like to talk to you guys about today is a little bit about who we are, why we took on this journey, how we did it. Victoria's going to tell you, she's going to get into kind of the details about how we did it. She led that initiative as our team lead and project manager. And then what did we gain from the experience? So who are we? We are Whole Foods Market. We are not just a retailer and a grocery store. We also have venues within our stores. That ranges from a brewery to a sushi vendor. It just depends. We encourage local and regional programs, and we have quality standards that we empower everybody to always make sure that we're holding up to, because Whole Foods truly wants to make a difference in the way that people eat. And we have. We opened our first store in 1980 in Austin, Texas, and today we have over 500 stores in the United States, and we spread that across 12 different regions. We also have stores in Canada and the US. The recall program is just, though, with the US stores.
US and Canada.
In Canada, right. So the way that we structured our team, we report into global quality assurance. So we get to work with all of the different procurement teams, and we define business processes and help with continuous improvement of business processes. We're the liaisons between those business teams and tech or the third-party software directly. So we're the ones who are partnering directly with Food Logic. And our team also has a support function. We provide that high-touch support for our team members. Whole Foods does have a global help desk that helps with kind of the basic, how do I log in? This doesn't seem to be working, but if it's anything that's related directly to that business process, then it comes to us, and that allows us to stay really connected with the business and the team members that are using the application. We write training materials, job aids, and they're just constantly working on that continuous improvement and making sure that we're staying connected. We want to make sure that the technology that we are implementing and putting in the hands of our team members is helping them do their business and do their processes better and not impeding it. I'm going to talk just real briefly just to give level set, since not everyone is familiar with Whole Foods and we may be a little bit different, but just what our process looks like. If you have more questions about this, we do have our expert here joining us today, so I'm sure she would be happy to answer some questions. But so what does that look like? Whole Foods is notified of an issue, which can come in through various ways. We determine what that impact is. And then we build the notification out in FoodLogic. So we've got templates that we have thoughtfully thought through depending on the scenario, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And then from there, FoodLogic notifies both the stores and the regions. The regional leadership monitors that directly from the dashboards, and the stores, as soon as they get that notification, they are empowered to go out and take that information and start pulling or following the instructions that are contained within the notification, reporting those quantities back. It comes back to Global, who is watching it the entire time. We're watching it from the dashboard as well. We do our closeout procedures, which could involve a variety of things depending on the type of recall, and then we close it out once we get to 100%. So that's kind of just at a high level what that process looks like. So why did we decide to implement a new recall application? One of the main focuses that we wanted to do was we wanted to improve the speed of the notification to the stores. So we wanted to get that notification out to the stores faster. The old way that we were doing that was, it was much more cumbersome, and it took us a long time to build those notifications. So this allows us, with the templates, to get them out very quickly, and then it also allows those store team members to be able to respond a lot faster. It's a more streamlined process, so we're providing more accurate information. So that was also why we wanted to launch a new recall tool. And then also the complete transparency, like that was really the key thing. Our old application didn't give us that transparency. This provides us with a very good way to just kind of track all the stores and see exactly where we're at so that we can keep our finger on the pulse at all times. Another huge win was the system-generated escalations. And with our old system, we had to manually check on each store to see where they were at and if they had responded and gotten the information that they needed. This way, we set the time frame. If it's a food safety related issue, then that's set at 4 hours. All stores need to have responded within that 4 hours, and if they don't, then at certain time frames we can set for the system to start notifying their leadership. So we proactively are reaching out to them, reaching out to their leadership and saying, we need somebody to respond to this and let us know if there is an issue for why they can't. It allows us to be proactive that way. And then also robust reporting. This is something that we're constantly working on, but we have the data now and we're able to build reports which are driving process improvements, as well as being able to give us the data that we need for regulatory agencies and legal and all that good stuff. So we've got all that data now collected in that one system. And now I'm going to let Victoria talk to you a little bit about how we did this.
All right, how do we do it? So I got the email to greenlight this project December 2017. It was the last email I looked at before I got on a plane to go to Greece. I was so excited to get started. So we came back January 2018, hit the ground running on the project. We were working actively on the project till about June 2018. We had to roll this tool out to about 480 stores and facilities at that time, with new ones coming on all the time. So it was a really big undertaking, but our project team decided to go with a rip the Band-Aid off approach. So let's just one day go live, all stores, we're gonna do it. We decided that that would be a better experience for our stores to have everybody having the same instructions, the same SOPs, instead of a more phased approach. So we split the project into 4 different phases. The first was discovery and requirements. We spent a lot of time looking at where we were with the process at the time and where we wanted to be. We documented all those requirements, listed out the problems we wanted the tool to solve. We worked really closely with the Food Logic team to help get us there, identify where the gaps were, and put in place those workarounds. Build and prep. So this is when we actually got into the system, started building those templates that Brenna was talking about. What is the actual language we want to send to the stores? How clear can we be? We also started working closely with our change enablement team on building user guides that would help stores and regional team members walk them through the process every time they needed to perform their role in the removal process. The third phase was communicate and test. So a huge part of the undertaking of this project was getting buy-in from regional leadership and global leadership. So the project team got on calls with our executive vice presidents, with our regional leaders, with our category managers and coordinators to tell them why we were moving to this new tool. We did a lot of mock testing with stores and regions to give people a chance to practice, put their hands on the tool. So we did that with stores, regions, and facilities. People were a little nervous to move, but also really excited for all these benefits. Last, we had launch. So Brenna and I put together a how-to webinar for our launch day for stores, which walked everybody through the exact kind of roles, their step-by-step instructions for how to go live. We've completed data migration, so that was getting our entire product catalog into Food Logic so we could quickly access it to build those recalls. And then we had our go live day. So go live was one recall, all stores, all facilities, all regions, sent it out. We chose a product that was kind of low impact. So I think we did sesame crackers. So if someone actually did pull the product, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It was well thought out. We sent it out, and the stores would respond to a recall as they normally would. So that response back let us know, hey, you're good to go. You know how to use this tool. And from that day forward, we were live.
That's right.
So we learned a lot along the way of the project. One of the key learnings was giving stores the opportunity to put their hands on it, especially those regional team members as well. Giving everybody a chance to practice in the tool was huge. We had 10 mock recalls planned originally. The response from that was so positive, we decided to double it to 20. And we wanted to make sure that everybody had at least one shot to really get in. We were on the phone with them, walking them through. They could ask us questions back and forth. Doing that was the best decision we ever made for the success of the project.
Absolutely. Cool. So what did we gain from all of this? I bucketed this out into three things. One is from the notifications, the second is the tracking, and then the third is the escalations. Those are really the three big buckets of information or benefits that Whole Foods has gained from implementing the withdrawal tool. So notifications, it's a streamlined process. It's built out, it's template, we have templates in place, so that just helps reduce the error rate. It's targeted communication. We can target it to a handful of stores, we can target it to an entire region, we can target it to the entire company. And all of that is just drop-down choices and clicks of buttons. It's very easy. And we can provide thorough information and instructions in a timely manner. So people are getting the information faster, it's allowing us to react faster, and the information is more thorough. The tracking, we have that live visibility of the affected store response time. If you haven't seen the dashboard, which I was standing over there, so I'm not sure if you were able to see it. Good. That's probably one of the most impressive pieces. Anytime we demo it within Whole Foods, people are really impressed with that visibility that we now have. Reporting on the quantity of the product pulled, we can easily do that at any time throughout the recall. Before, that was very manual. We had to kind of piecemeal it together, and now, as some of the other presenters have talked about, you can just download the information in one click of a button, and you've got all that. And then tracking the team members responsible. It's so easy to filter on who's been, who has acknowledged this recall, who's already put in their responses, and who still hasn't even looked at it yet, so that we can reach out and see if there's some sort of process improvement we need to do or a reason that they aren't able to respond. Which leads into the escalations, right? So we can decide when to proactively engage leadership so that they can go out and ask the stores, maybe there's something going on in their store, whatever it might be. What do we need to do to get them more actively engaged? And then that leads obviously to process improvements for that store. We can see with stores that respond quickly, the most quickly, and then we can see the ones that are always the last to respond and see if we can't put some of those best practices in place and change that behavior. So why were we successful? We feel like we were successful in this project because of the strong, robust communication plan that we put in place. We partnered with Change Enablement and with all of the different regions, and we communicated in every way that we could possibly think of. As Victoria mentioned, we made a webinar and we advertised it and we told them it was a limited time. So it forced people to get excited about it. They made time in their schedules because they thought that was the one and only chance to hear about this great new tool. We created one-pagers, we sent emails, we got on calls. We had open calls where people could call in and just ask questions. So we just over communicated, and it made it so that it was available in all different mediums, so whatever worked for them and their schedule. Ample practice opportunity, as Victoria already spoke about. And then the robust support process. We had what we call hypercare, so our IT team was partnered closely with us, and we had hypercare for the first couple of weeks. So that was just everybody, all hands on deck, watching it, watching every recall that got implemented, sitting with Ashley and her team as they sent out the first couple of ones and seeing if there was anywhere that they were struggling or having some questions so that we could, make an improvement or change the process if we needed to, which led out to the well thought out templates in the process. So we, triple checked those templates. We've made changes to the drop downs as we needed to. It's very configurable and it allows us to make those changes on the fly, which we think is very key to the success. And then, of course, it goes without saying our partnership with FoodLogic. I mean, they're just amazing to work with. They listen to us, they respond, and we can't say enough good things about the partnership with FoodLogic, which was also a huge reason why we chose to undertake this, was because we had had success in other areas with FoodLogic. We knew that they were good partners, and so we had the faith that we could go down this new adventure together. And that is the end of our presentation, so if there's any questions. We also are going to be available later for questions, so. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So I can't really answer that because we use it, it's not just for a big romaine recall. We use it daily for things, maybe there's a product that we just need to do some more investigation about, or maybe somebody reports something that the quality is not quite right, or we discover that there is an unacceptable ingredient, because Whole Foods does have those standards. So they go out daily. Mm. And Ashley would probably be able to tell you more about that if you want to talk to her. Yeah. Great. Sure. Well, it was interesting timing. Amazon was, our partners in Seattle, were implementing some new security policies for us. So even though we felt like we had communicated, there was, we're a big company, and so there was a opportunity with the email notifications that went out. They put some new policies in place that basically stopped the notifications from being able to go out from that third party. So we had to jump through some hoops and put in some security measures within our internal IT email servers so that we could allow the FoodLogic email to actually go out to that many team members at once. Anytime we do a company-wide notification, we're sending out, 10,000 emails all at once, and so that obviously sets off a bunch of triggers within our email system. And so that part was unexpected, but we partnered with FoodLogic and we put a workaround in place So we were still initiating the recalls within the Food Logic application, but then we were sending the emails through a template that we created through our email server directly, so it was just coming directly from Whole Foods and not from a third party. We worked through those challenges, and then we tested it, and we seamlessly switched over, and now we're sending all of them from the Food Logic application. We're no longer using that workaround.
Yeah. I don't even think the stores noticed.
No, the stores didn't notice. It was more just work on the people who have to actually initiate it, so. Any other questions?
So how many templates did you set up to handle different situations?
We set up, let's see. I think 7 to 9. We've added a few since we've launched to deal with certain situations, but we have 2 groups, safety and quality, and that has different timings around each one of those groups to facilitate the business process.
Yeah.
So communication as well as timing were considered in that. So what kind of naming convention did you use to separate those out?
For the templates, we have a pretty robust naming convention at Whole Foods, so it was class 1, class 2, class 3. We had pull and hold safety, pull and hold quality, withdrawal quality. So we were keeping in line with our internal documentation.
Cool. Oh, another question? Yeah.
Yeah. You talked about using mock recalls to roll out the process, right? To kind of rip that Band-Aid off. Are you currently also using the platform for mock recalls, or do you do that? Have you worked that into your process?
It's a kind of regional choice. So certain regions, yeah, absolutely. They have mock recalls, and they let us know before they're doing it. In case we're like, wait, hold, we got a real one. Pay attention to this. But it's really a regional choice. So, but the stores are pretty active.
Do it for
in the
training.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah,
When a new store comes online, we're like, hey, this is how it works.
Yeah, we always do it when there's a new store that comes online, and then the regions can choose to do one if they just feel like their regions, or if they have a particular store that needs some additional training, then it's a good way to facilitate that.
Yeah, no, I think we hear that a lot, obviously, with just staff turnover in not only retail locations, but in restaurant locations, just the increased need to just continually educate, right? It can't just be this one and done, but needing to continually do that. So it's great to use the mock recalls in that way.
Yeah, we also embedded, with Food Logic's help, we embedded some training videos right on the response page for the stores to help accommodate that turnover. So if you're logging in for the first time, it'll pop up, say, hey, this is how you do your job. And I think it's been very helpful.
That is definitely one of the most innovative ways that we've done training, because nobody wants to read a user guide. You can tell them to, but they're not going to go and look at it. And this way, like she said, as soon as they go to the page for the first time, they watch a little 2-minute video, and it shows them exactly how to do it. And not that it's really that complicated, but it's always good to know exactly what it is we're looking for, and not have to have them figure it out on their own. So we ensure consistency that way. Yes.
Since you guys have switched it on, what do you think the likelihood is that you prevented somebody from getting sick?
I don't even know how we would quantify that.
I have no idea. I think the tool does a really good job about clearly communicating with our stores, right? Well, we've seen big improvements in response time since we launched.
It's hard to figure out how to say this. The response time we figured out has improved by 67%. So the amount of time it was taking stores has improved by 67%, which is pretty big. So.
Have you considered trying to fold the notification process into a consumer-facing message? Leveraging Amazon user contact information, anything like that?
That's not something that we've talked about currently. So I know that yeah, right. I know that there have been lots of conversations about that. It's just a more complicated process So it's not something that we're looking at right now, just because of all the legalities around it and making sure that we get it out in the correct way. But yeah.
What made you decide on the 4-hour time frame?
That was already in place.
It's been in place for a while. Yeah, it was the amount of time we felt that would be reasonable to allow stores to go find the product, pull the product, and respond back to us. A lot of stores respond way quicker than that.
Yeah.
And it gives them the flexibility to actually respond back in the system.
Yeah, that's been in place for a really long time. Like,
There
More than-
is a goal to start shortening the time.
yeah, absolutely. Cool. Thank you, guys.